Did you ever notice how after 80, your thoughts get quieter, but your fears get louder? Not the loud kind of fear you scream about, the quiet kind. The kind that slips into your mind when you're alone, when the TV is off, and the house is too still. At first, you try to ignore it. You tell yourself, I'm just being dramatic. But then it comes again, the same nagging question. What if I can't handle what's coming next? This video is for those of us in our 80s, or getting close, who've worked hard, lived long, and earned peace, but find ourselves worrying more than ever. These fears are not irrational. In fact, they're signs of deep self-awareness, of wanting to protect what little time and dignity we have left. But here's the truth nobody told us when we were younger. After 80, fear doesn't always look like panic. Sometimes it wears the face of silence. You may not say the fear out loud, but it shapes your days. And if you're not careful, it can quietly shrink your world. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest fears that show up most often after 80. And more importantly, how to recognize them for what they really are. Not just problems, but unspoken calls for change. Whether you're already in your 80s or walking toward them, this message is for you. Let's get into it. Number 1, fear of becoming a burden. One of the deepest fears that begins to grow after 80 is this quiet, aching thought. What if I become a burden to the people I love? It doesn't show up all at once. At first, it's just a small hesitation before asking for help with something simple. Carrying a heavy bag, driving to the doctor, reaching the top shelf. But over time, those small hesitations turn into silence. You stop asking. You try to do it yourself. You downplay the pain. And all the while, the fear grows if I lean on them. Too much. Will they pull away? This fear isn't just about physical dependence. It's also about emotional weight. Many older adults worry that by sharing their struggles, they'll bring down the mood, that their children already have too much on their plates, that they should smile and say, I'm fine, even when they're not. It's a mindset that seems noble, but slowly robs you of connection, honesty, and care. Psychologically, the fear of being a burden is tied to a loss of perceived value. When you've spent most of your life giving, raising children, working hard, solving problems, receiving can feel uncomfortable, even shameful. You may start measuring your worth by how little you ask for, instead of how much love you give and receive. But that's not how real relationships work. People don't love you because you're easy. They love you because you're you. I once spoke with a man named Harold, 84 years old, who said he'd stopped telling his daughter about his falls. She gets so worried, he said. I don't want to be a headache. But over time, that silence created distance. She thought he was doing fine, so she didn't visit as often. He thought she was too busy, so he kept quiet. And slowly, the bond between them began to thin, not because of conflict, but because of unspoken fear. The irony is this: in trying not to burden others, many older adults end up burdening themselves. They carry more than they should. They isolate more than they need to, and they miss out on the deeper relationships that only come when we're honest, even in our weakness. If this fear lives quietly in you, I want to tell you something as plainly as I can. Your existence is not a burden. Your stories, your presence, your vulnerability, they matter. You're not a problem to solve. You're a person to love. Number 2, fear of being forgotten. This one doesn't always shout, it whispers. In the quiet moments, in the pause after the phone doesn't ring, or when holidays pass, and no one asks what you're doing, it creeps in. Will they forget me? Am I already fading from their world? For many seniors past 80, this fear doesn't come from ego. It comes from love. You've built a life, raised a family, formed friendships. You remember birthdays, anniversaries, favorite meals. And so when others forget, especially those you hold close, it's not just a missed call. It feels like a little piece of you has been erased. This fear is deeply tied to identity. After retirement and after children grow up, our roles shift. We go from dad or mom to grandpa or nana, from the one who makes things happen to the one we'll call later. That change, if not spoken about, can feel like fading into the background. Some people deal with this by overcompensating. They send texts, call constantly, offer to babysit, make excuses to drop by just to stay relevant. Others retreat. They say they'll come when they have time. But inside, each silent week feels heavier than the last. I met a woman named Joyce. She was 82, who told me she didn't decorate for Christmas last year for the first time in 50 years. No one's coming, she said with a soft smile. I'll just keep the lights off. But behind that smile was a heart still hoping for someone to prove her wrong. This fear isn't selfish. It's human. We all want to matter. And at 80 or 85, you still do matter. The wisdom you carry, the love you've given, the lessons you've lived, they don't expire. But the world doesn't always reflect that back. That's where the pain begins. The best remedy for this fear isn't just to receive love, but to stay open to it, to speak up, to invite people in, to share what you miss without shame, to remind your loved ones, not out of guilt, but out of truth, that your chapter isn't over. There's still more of you to know. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, fear of losing control. After 80, one of the most unsettling feelings isn't physical pain or even loneliness. It's the slow, creeping sense that you no longer have control over your own life. You might not say it out loud, but deep down, many seniors feel it, decisions being made for you, not with you. It starts subtly. Your children might suggest a different doctor. Your caregiver might rearrange your kitchen to make it easier. The pharmacist talks more to your daughter than to you. Bit by bit, your autonomy gets chipped away, not always out of malice, but out of misplaced protection. But here's the truth. Most don't want to admit losing control doesn't feel safe. It feels humiliating. It can feel like you're being slowly erased from your own life story. And once you sense that happening, trust becomes harder, confidence starts to wobble, and dignity takes a hit. I once spoke with a man named Harold, 84. He said, "My grandson drives me to the bank now." Nice kid. But last time, he asked the teller to explain my account to him. I sat there like a child in the principal's office. That moment stuck with him, not because of the account, but because of what it symbolized. What most people don't see is that control isn't just about big things. It's about small choices. What to eat, what to wear, when to sleep, where to sit. Losing those small freedoms can feel like death by 1,000 cuts. You're still breathing, but someone else is running the show. Now, this fear often hides behind silence. Older folks won't always push back. Many were raised to be respectful, accommodating, not to make trouble. But inside, there's a quiet grief, a longing to say, "Let me decide. Let me be." So what can you do? First, speak up, gently but firmly. Reclaim your voice. "I appreciate the help, but I'd like to decide this myself." Second, choose something each day, no matter how small. That's your choice. Your breakfast, your clothes, your schedule. Those small wins rebuild your inner ground. You've spent decades making decisions, guiding families, running businesses, surviving hardships. That wisdom doesn't disappear at 80. It becomes sharper, more refined. You have every right to steer your life until your last breath. This fear doesn't make you stubborn. It makes you human. And standing up for your right to choose isn't selfish. It's essential. Because a life without control isn't peace, it's quiet resignation. And you were made for more than that. Number 4, fear of being forgotten. There's a quiet fear that creeps in for many after 80, not of death, not of sickness, but of fading away, of being forgotten while still alive. It's that deep ache that whispers, "Does anyone even remember who I really am?" You might have been the glue that held a family together, the one who kept birthdays, cooked meals, gave advice, or simply showed up when no one else did. But now maybe the phone doesn't ring as often. Holidays pass quietly. Old friends are gone, and children are busy living lives you once helped to build. This isn't about needing praise or attention. It's about connection. Humans don't just want to live, they want to matter. And after 80, when routines shrink and circles get smaller, it becomes harder to feel seen. Eleanor, 82, told me this. "My family loves me, I know that. But I feel like a photograph on a shelf. Still there, but no one looks anymore." That sentence hit me in the chest. Because it's not just about being remembered during the holidays. It's about being remembered as you. And the pain of being forgotten isn't only emotional. It affects the body. Studies show that social isolation increases the risk of cognitive decline, heart issues, and even early death. The body listens when the spirit feels invisible. But here's what's often overlooked. You don't have to wait for others to remember you. You can remind them and yourself who you are. Share stories, photos, recipes, memories. Speak your name into the air again, not as a plea, but as a presence. Reach out, not just to family, but to neighbors, church groups, book clubs. You'd be amazed how many others are also waiting, quietly, hoping someone will remember them too. And when you do that, you don't just stop yourself from being forgotten, you help others be remembered too. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, fear of losing dignity. One of the hardest things to face in our 80s is the slow loss of independence, and with it, the quiet erosion of dignity. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's as small as needing help buttoning a shirt or having someone remind you of things you used to remember without effort. But these moments can chip away at a person's confidence, leaving behind frustration, shame, and silence. Dignity isn't about pride, it's about having control, about choosing how you live, how you're seen, and how you're cared for. And when that control starts to slip away, many seniors don't speak up. They don't want to be a burden, or worse, be pitied. I once spoke with Henry, 84, who told me, "I'd rather fall trying to do it myself than sit there waiting for someone to help." And while I admired his spirit, I also heard the pain underneath. Because asking for help shouldn't feel like giving up a piece of who you are. The real danger here isn't just physical, it's emotional. When you feel like your needs are ignored or your preferences brushed aside, it tells your brain you don't matter like you used to. That message, repeated again and again, can sink deep. It can lead to depression, withdrawal, and even decline in health. But dignity can be protected, even rebuilt, when we're intentional about it. Start by setting boundaries. Speak up about your routines, your likes and dislikes. Whether it's how you want your meals prepared or when you prefer to rest, these small choices are anchors of identity. Also, involve yourself in decisions that affect your life. Whether it's about your health care, your living situation, or even daily tasks, your voice matters. You've earned the right to be heard. Families, too, need to be reminded that caring doesn't mean controlling. The best care happens when a person's dignity is preserved, not erased. And most importantly, dignity starts within. Take pride in what you can do, no matter how small. Whether it's reading a book, folding laundry, or sharing wisdom with a grandchild, these things carry worth. Aging may change what we can do, but it should never change who we are. You are still you, still wise, still worthy, still whole. Let's keep that truth close. Because in a world that often rushes past the elderly, the quiet strength of dignity is more powerful than people realize. And our final thoughts. Growing old comes with more than just gray hair and slower steps. It brings new fears that often stay hidden behind quiet smiles and polite nods. But just because we don't speak about them, doesn't mean they don't weigh on us. These 5 fears, being forgotten, losing purpose, becoming a burden, facing illness, and losing dignity, aren't signs of weakness. They're reminders that we're still human, still feeling, still growing. And here's the truth, no one tells you enough. Being 80 doesn't mean you've stopped becoming. You're still allowed to ask for more. More respect, more connection, more understanding. In fact, you deserve it. So don't be afraid to name what you feel. That's not complaining, that's being honest. And when you're honest, you give others the chance to love you better. You remind your family that you're still here, still sharp, still kind, still filled with stories that matter. You've spent your life giving, raising children, building communities, working hard, showing up for others. Now is the time to honor yourself with the same energy. Let this video be a small encouragement for that. You're not alone in your fears. And more importantly, you're not powerless in facing them. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.